What if everything you thought you knew about our place in the universe was a carefully constructed illusion? Imagine a secret so profound, so earth-shattering, it has been hidden from humanity for over 80 years, controlled by a select few, and protected by an iron curtain of secrecy. This isn't a science fiction plot. It's the chilling narrative surrounding Majestic 12, an alleged clandestine group said to have been formed to manage the most significant discovery in human history. We are not alone. The whispers began not in hushed tones behind closed doors, but with a flash in the skies, a searing mark on the earth, and the stark reality of something profoundly, terrifyingly alien. From an alleged crash in Missouri in 1941, where a Baptist minister was called to give blessings to 3 identical, allegedly cloned alien bodies, to the more widely known event in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947, a new, unsettling chapter in human history was said to have begun. These were not just strange lights in the sky. These were physical objects, tangible proof, and the supposed catalyst for one of the most enduring and fiercely debated secrets of the modern era, Majestic 12. The very concept of Majestic 12, or MJ-12, emerged from a series of documents allegedly leaked, hinting at a secret committee of 12 prominent individuals, scientists, military leaders, and government officials tasked with the most sensitive mission imaginable: to manage the fallout, retrieve the hardware, and understand the implications of non-terrestrial visitations. The tale begins long before the public was ever meant to know, far earlier than the infamous Roswell incident that would later ignite global curiosity. Picture the Los Angeles air raid of 1942, a confusing episode often attributed to wartime paranoia. Yet, within the secretive channels, there was an alleged recovery of an unidentified aircraft off the California coast, an event so significant it hinted at atomic secrets gleaned from celestial devices. This incident, just days after the raid, supposedly prompted President Franklin D. Roosevelt to authorize Dr. Vannevar Bush to proceed with a project to understand this new wonder. This initial shockwave led to the formation of a special intelligence unit, the Interplanetary Phenomenon Unit, or IPU, designed to investigate such phenomena and report on any significant connections to recent incidents. But the threads of this clandestine narrative stretch back even further, to the small town of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, in 1941. A local Baptist minister, Reverend Huffman, was reportedly driven by squad car 15 minutes out of town to a field. There, amidst the burnt remains of an acorn-shaped saucer, lay 3 dead aliens, strikingly identical. Reverend Huffman administered blessings before the military swiftly arrived, sweeping up the bodies and swearing everyone to secrecy. The alleged wreckage and bodies were taken to the nearby Siston base, a training ground for World War II pilots. Years later, details of this event would surface through his granddaughter, Charlotte Mann, who vividly recounted her grandmother's deathbed confessions, complete with whispers of a crashed saucer and a little picture of an alien. Investigations, including attempts to pinpoint the crash site using historical aerial photography and even remote viewing, highlight the relentless pursuit of physical evidence in these cases. Even earlier, in 1897, the small Texas town of Aurora experienced its own, nearly forgotten, crash. A UFO allegedly collided with a windmill, its parts scattered, and a small body recovered. This extraterrestrial being was given a proper burial in the local cemetery, complete with a headstone that bore a triangular picture and a circle. For 70 to 80 years, this alleged extraterrestrial lay buried in a plain town cemetery. The story suggests that this site was later investigated by the purported Majestic 12, perhaps in the 1940s, when the alien body and some parts were supposedly dug up and vanished, leaving only the headstone, which itself would later disappear in the mid-1970s. The alleged Majestic documents even mention reinvestigating the Aurora case as a starting point for their comprehensive analysis of ufology. The stage was set. With these earlier alleged encounters, The U.S. government, or at least a highly select group within it, was supposedly already aware that humanity was not alone. Then came 1947, a watershed year. The Kenneth Arnold sighting sparked near hysteria, and on July 7th, a secret recovery operation began in New Mexico, the Roswell incident. 4 dead bodies and wreckage were allegedly moved to multiple locations. This event, many believe, cemented the need for a hyper-secretive, dedicated group. Enter Majestic 12. The Eisenhower briefing document, allegedly the first major leak to surface in 1984, purported to introduce the 12 original members of this clandestine group. These were names of immense power and intellect. Admiral Roscoe H. Hillenkoetter, the first director of the Central Intelligence Agency; Dr. Vannevar Bush, head of the Office of Scientific Research and Development, allegedly managing crash retrieval analysis; Secretary James Forrestal, a figure whose later suspicious death would fuel more speculation; General Nathan Twining, central to the Roswell investigation; General Hoyt Vandenberg, Twining's superior; scientists like Dr. Detlef Bronk, allegedly capable of performing alien autopsies; and others such as Dr. Jerome Hunsaker, Mr. Sidney Sowers, Mr. Gordon Gray, Dr. Donald Menzel, allegedly a disinformation agent, and Dr. Lloyd Berkner. This was, in essence, the ultimate brain trust, assembled to handle the most profound secret in human history. The initial documents hinted at Truman's executive order on September 24, 1947, establishing the Majestic 12 Group on the recommendation of Bush and Forrestal. The mission of Majestic 12 was multifaceted and chillingly pragmatic. According to the alleged documents, it was about recovery, analysis, reverse engineering, and above all, secrecy. The White Hot Report, also dated September 1947, allegedly detailed the first-order descriptions of a flying disc, highlighting its advanced design, unknown propulsion, and lack of terrestrial manufacturing characteristics. It even described the recovered bodies, their existence as mysterious as the crash itself. The report concluded that the U.S. must be perceived as top of the heap, and every effort must be made to ensure that there never was a threat to the country from these objects. This included ensuring the public remained ignorant of the truth. The notion of the recovered bodies being potential biological weapons also emerged early on. Technicians from the Sandia Engineering District, sent to handle the bodies at Roswell in 1947, allegedly died from profuse bleeding. This suggested an unforeseen biological hazard, forming the impetus for later discussions on alien viruses and biowarfare, as explored in Ryan Wood's father's book, Alien Viruses. The intellectual implications were equally vast. The purported Oppenheimer-Einstein draft memo from June 1947, titled Relationships with Inhabitants of Celestial Bodies, was allegedly the first to use the term extraterrestrial biological entities, EBEs. This document, a profound think piece, wrestled with questions of cosmic international law, the rights of celestial states, and how humanity should navigate potential colonization or integration if EBEs desired to settle on Earth. It even speculated on whether the presence of these celestial astroplanes was a direct result of humanity's military experiments with fission and fusion, a warning about a perilous fate. As the years progressed, the alleged operations of Majestic 12 became more formalized and deeply entrenched. The Special Operations Manual, SOM 1-01, purportedly from April 1954, laid out meticulous procedures for the recovery, cleansing, inventory, and disposal of crash site materials. This document was so detailed, down to crating and uncrating instructions for biological and non-biological materials, differing guidelines for foreign versus domestic soil shipments, and proper UFOB, unidentified flying object, reporting. Its authentication, particularly by Ryan Wood and his father, involved scrutinizing its war seal, stylistic elements, and even checking for specific linguistic usages consistent with 1950s government documents. A critical aspect of authentication was the discovery of the names of 2 officers, Colonel Eric Walker, EWL, and Colonel John Reese, JRT, in the Albuquerque phone book for 1954, who were allegedly responsible for marking changes in the manual. This manual even specified destinations for recovered materials, like the Blue Lab at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and the enigmatic Area 51S4. The core of the secret, however, was not just the physical evidence, but the gravitational control technology allegedly possessed by these craft. This was considered the Holy Grail, the ultimate secret that would rewire the world, solve energy problems, and decarbonize the planet by providing virtually free electricity. The ability to manipulate gravity, creating even a 1% reduction, could allow for perpetual motion and revolutionary power generation. The sources suggest that if electricity costs were lowered by a factor of 10 to 100, problems of resource scarcity, water, food, education, could be fundamentally addressed, potentially leading to a more harmonious cosmic kindergarten for humanity, free of the need for nuclear weapons. The narrative suggests that around the late 1950s or early 1960s, a breakthrough occurred in understanding gravity control equations. This speculation is fueled by the convenient disappearance of public research on gravity control during that period, and comments by figures like Ben Rich, former head of Lockheed Skunk Works. Rich allegedly stated in 1993 that we have the technology to take ET home, and it won't take a lifetime to do it, implying humans had found a mistake in the equations. This points to a secret human-led program, possibly stemming from Operation Paperclip, where German scientists were brought to the U.S. after World War II. Companies like the Glenn L. Martin Company's Research Institute of Advanced Studies RAS Group were allegedly instrumental in cracking the code of gravity control. When Glenn L. Martin merged with Marietta in 1962, a company involved in deep underground bases, it's theorized that this is when the secret government holding the gravity control secret went rogue or proprietary. This level of secrecy led to extreme compartmentalization. Within the vast government bureaucracy, and especially among private contractors, knowledge was parceled out on a strict need-to-know basis. Insanely talented physicists and engineers could be working on related but entirely separate projects, unaware of the full scope of the government's or contractors' alleged activities. This created a situation where even the president might be in the dark, needing approval from Majestic Security and Intelligence Command to access the deepest secrets. The alleged existence of CIA levels, where alien discussions supposedly happened, further illustrates these layers of classification. This profound secrecy also gave rise to disinformation campaigns. Dr. Donald Menzel, an alleged MJ-12 member, was publicly known as a debunker of ufology, acting as a disinformation agent. The FBI, when confronted with the initial Majestic 12 documents in 1984, declared them completely bogus, citing issues with signatures, date formats, and the document's provenance. Critics like Philip J. Klass vehemently argued that the documents were a hoax, pointing to inconsistencies and alleged confessions from ufologists about creating bogus documents to encourage whistleblowers. However, supporters like Stanton Friedman countered these claims, and many still believe the inconsistencies were either intentional flaws to mislead foreign intelligence or simply products of a highly complex and compartmentalized truth. The secrecy even extended to presidential matters. President John F. Kennedy, just days before his assassination, allegedly inquired about sharing UFO intelligence with the Soviets, a move some speculate could have contributed to his death. A burned memo, purportedly snatched from a fire, mentioned Lancer, JFK, making inquiries which we cannot allow, further linking the MJ-12 program to the assassination. Another document linked CIA counterintelligence chief James Jesus Angleton to an MJ-12 directive concerning Marilyn Monroe, suggesting her death was suspicious given her alleged secret diaries and associations with the Kennedys. Despite the intense efforts to maintain secrecy, the information began to leak. The initial Majestic 12 documents arrived in 1984 to Jamie Chandra as an undeveloped film. Then in 1994, the Special Operations Manual was mailed to aviation reporter Don Berliner, again as an undeveloped film. These leaks, often via untraceable mail drops, hinted at internal conflicts or a desire from within to reveal the truth. Figures like Tim Cooper, whose father, Harry B. Cooper, worked at the National Photographic Interpretation Center and had an outstanding work in the USAF UFO program, became crucial conduits for these alleged documents. A mysterious source, using the pseudonym Canwheel, allegedly Thomas Krill Cantwheel, associated with the Interplanetary Phenomenon Unit, reportedly provided Cooper with many original classified documents. The discussion around these alleged leaks and the overall phenomenon isn't limited to crashes. The military has observed unidentified pre-flight aircraft of U.S. design since at least 1949, indicating human efforts at reverse engineering. The Foo Fighters, seen during World War II, though not tied to crashes, represent early encounters with unknown aerial phenomena. There's also the ongoing debate about transmedium UFOs, capable of operating in air and water, though most discussed cases focus on land-based incidents like the Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia, crash where a craft allegedly went into the water and was recovered. The core motivation for these alleged visitors, according to insights from The Evidence We Are Not Alone, and a thorough analysis of vast amounts of ufological data, chronicling the deep, often obscured history of military and government involvement with the UFO phenomenon. This isn't just about a few scattered reports. We're talking about everything from the incredibly controversial MJ-12 Majestic documents to a vast collection of other undeniable evidence pointing to the recovery of advanced technology and non-human craft, a timeline that stretches back to at least 1941 and continues to unfold in the present day. When you put all of that together, what becomes clear is that their core motivation appears to be multifaceted. Scientific study, observing humanity. Resource acquisition, potentially for water, gold, or human genetic material. Benevolent guidance, urging humanity to clean up its act, to join a cosmic kindergarten, emphasizing environmental cleanup, elimination of nuclear weapons, and fostering compassion. Indifference, a just don't give a damn attitude. Survival, seeking a new home due to planetary catastrophes. Diplomatic relations, establishing treaties, like the alleged Eisenhower Accords. Observation, anthropological approach, studying emerging civilizations. Experimentation, tweaking human biology, potentially altering male-female ratios for societal calming. Spiritual, metaphysical goals, influencing human consciousness or belief systems. Genetic manipulation, enhancing or altering human DNA. Salvation, preservation of genetic stocks, acting as guardians to ensure humanity's survival in case of global catastrophe. The alleged turning on and off of human nuclear weapons by these craft isn't seen by all as benevolent guidance, but rather as a demonstration of superior control, a warning that your systems are weak and ineffective, a message to be very careful with these things. The moment humanity exploded a nuke in July 1945 was seen as an inflection point, signaling to other civilizations that this kindergarten planet had reached a critical stage. Some theories even suggest deliberate seeding of kindergarten planets, implying that aliens might intentionally crash technology to force humanity to advance its technological curve and uplift its society. Most recently, the testimony of David Grusch about the Magenta, Italy crash in 1933, involving a craft recovered under Mussolini and later allegedly taken by Allied forces, brought historical crash retrievals back into the public eye. Further, the astonishing claims by a former Israeli space security chief of extraterrestrials existing, forming a galactic federation, and having an underground base in the depths of Mars, with American astronauts and alien representatives, coupled with the assertion that Donald Trump was aware and almost disclosed this, adds another layer of intrigue, suggesting a global, long-standing, and deeply integrated alien presence. The claim that the Galactic Federation asked not to publish their existence, stating humanity is not ready, resonates with the government's long-held control and denial policy. The profound philosophical and societal implications of a complete disclosure are immense. If gravity control and free energy technologies were released, it would revolutionize transportation, energy, and industry, instantly devaluing hydrocarbons and reshaping geopolitical power structures. The current powers that be, whether governments or the shadowy entities managing these secrets, have little incentive to disclose. The fear is mass hysteria, societal collapse, or a global purge if humanity suddenly learned the full truth. The prevailing strategy, therefore, has been one of titration and minimal disclosure, slowly bringing society along through subtle shifts in media and carefully managed leaks. The fight for truth in ufology continues, marked by debates over credibility, leadership, and funding. Organizations and individuals grapple with the overwhelming scale of the challenge against a highly funded, top-down, militarized government apparatus. The fundamental question remains how to channel disparate efforts into a cohesive, strategic plan to push for full disclosure. The great secret remains guarded, but its very existence and the relentless pursuit of its understanding by dedicated investigators fuels humanity's ongoing fascination with what lies beyond our earthly confines and what profound changes it could bring. The pursuit of these answers is not just about lights in the sky or crashed hardware. It's about humanity's place in the cosmos and its potential future. We've only just scratched the surface of Majestic 12 and the incredible depths of this hidden history. Believe me, the rabbit hole goes far deeper than you can even imagine, revealing a narrative woven with concealed truths, suppressed technologies, and a profound, unsettling question about humanity's very destiny. Majestic 12. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The rabbit hole, my friends, goes so much deeper than you could ever conceive, revealing a chilling narrative of hidden truths, world-changing suppressed technologies, and a profound, inescapable question about humanity's true destiny. The moment of decision is here. Will you passively cling to the comfortable official narrative, letting others dictate your reality? Or are you prepared to embrace discomfort, to question every single thing you believed, to truly seek out what's been deliberately hidden? What other chilling mysteries are still locked away, whispering from the shadows, directly connected to Majestic 12 and the shocking secrets they've staunchly protected for decades? This isn't just a story, it's a call to awareness. Share this video with anyone who refuses to simply accept what they're told, who senses that there's more to reality than meets the eye. And then, I want you to share your perspective in the comments below. Is Majestic 12 undeniably real, a clandestine power operating behind the scenes? Or is it, in your honest opinion, the most elaborate hoax of all time? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an adventure with us.